Hello guys, what's up? So today we're gonna go over my training first, and then after this I'm gonna speak a little bit about should you gain weight or should you cut, basically, pretty much. So let's go over this. So this is going to be my last warm-up here. This is 150 kilos, so I warm up always pretty much as I described in my tall lifts free training. So basically I do, but before that I also do general warm-up. So before I ever touch the bar I do general warm-up always. That's really nonsensical idea for me not to do general warm-up, just to increase your heart rate and to get a little sweat going on. And also I didn't do this a lot, but I started also stretching a little bit before training, and I didn't do that I don't know, last time I did it was probably 2016, but I started doing it again because I don't think you're actually gonna lose any strength if you are stretching just a little bit before your training. Not too much, not to stretch obsessively and try to like elongate your muscles, or I don't know what you are trying to do with your muscles with your stretching, but just general warm-up. If you ever trained any sport, I did, when I trained basketball, I trained basketball for 10 years and I always did the same exact routine before my workouts, before everything. And it's not like that I'm gonna hold my stretch for like 45 minutes. I don't know, it's like 10 seconds for each stretch and that's it. So maybe I will sometimes post my stretching routine. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, and that's it. So yeah, I do stretches. I started to do stretching again before my workouts. I don't have currently any problems with my lower body. The only problem I have currently is my AC joint. Probably it is, maybe it's not even AC joint. It's on my top of my right shoulder, and that's why I can't really lift heavier weights on the bench. So yeah, let's just proceed with this workout. So this is the last warm-up. As I said, I always warm up the same. So you have my warm-up in tall lifts program, and this was really fast rep. So this is 150 kilos. So now I started to do only fives on squat. I started like conservative. So the last eights I did was with 170 kilos. So this is 165 kilos for 5 reps. So it was pretty much all of them were below RPE 7. It felt reasonably good. I pretty much started squatting exclusively high barish. As you can see, this is actually my high bar squat. This is just a regular high bar. It's not like super mega deep ATG. And probably for a while now I'm gonna just do only high bar squat. So this was the first set with 165 kilos, pretty easy. The next set is also going to be a 165 kilos. And as you can see, my squat stance is pretty much my shoulder width apart. And it was always more comfortable for me that way, especially when I'm doing like high bars. The only thing, the only time that I did a wider stance is when I was squatting with my flat shoes, and my strength levels were pretty much the same with flat shoes or without them, and they felt pretty comfortable also. It was pretty much the same. So I don't know, maybe I will just have in the future, I will just start squatting with flat shoes. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, at least only for me, at least in strength levels. But for now I'm just gonna keep this exact technique you're seeing here. So for the third set, I dropped the weight a little bit because I wanted for them to feel a little bit more snappy, you know. I wanted a little bit more speed, especially now because this is my first time doing sets of 5 in a long time. So I wanted them to be a little bit lighter. So that's why I dropped down to 160 kilos. And this is pretty much the last set now. So we're just gonna take a look at this set here until the end, and then we are just gonna transition to bench press. So this last set felt pretty okay, pretty much. I could do at least 2 or 3 more sets of 5 with 160 kilos, and they would all be below RP8 most likely, but I'm not gonna do that now. Maybe I'm gonna increase my volume in a few months, but now I'm gonna keep them around 4 to 5 sets per workout. So I'm doing squats now at Monday and on Friday. So yeah, that's pretty much it. My workout now. I'm gonna do 4 sets on Monday for squats, and I'm gonna do 3 more sets either on Thursday to like split up the volume a little bit more from deadlifts, and or I'm just gonna do on Friday. I always did my deadlifts first and then squats after deadlifts, and that I did only on Friday because on Friday was my deadlift day essentially. So I just always did high bar squats or pause squats after deadlifts because I always did light squats on Friday. But now I'm gonna probably push more squats because I want to do some numbers on high bar squat. So I'm probably gonna do first the squat on Friday, and then after squat I'm gonna do deadlift. Or if I have more energy from week to week basis, I'm gonna do first on Thursday high bar squat, then the day after on Friday I'm gonna do deadlifts. So let's just transition to bench. So my shoulder hurts still. This is only 90 kilos and it's pretty frustrating for me to do bench with only 90 kilos, especially for 4 reps. But yeah, that's the only thing that I can do now on flat bench. I think maybe I'm even stronger currently on incline bench, but that doesn't really matter. So I did 4 sets of 4 with 90 kilos on flat bench, and so my girlfriend was filming me this time, and she filmed me in a little bit different angles, and I didn't really realize that my grip width was so wide. So maybe that's one of the reasons why you can see it pretty much here. I thought that my grip was more narrower than this, but it wasn't. You can see at the bottom that my like forearms are slightly opened, and this is kind of sloppy technique also. Just don't really so bench is hurting me currently, so don't just get too hung up on the technique. And yeah, basically just stop talking about the bench because it's really frustrating currently for me. I will just do probably just 1 bench session per week, flat benching per week, only maybe 2 or 3 sets, just just to feel them a little bit to see what's going on. But if they keep hurting me for about 1 month, I'm just gonna completely don't even do them. I'm just gonna focus on overhead press, dips, and incline bench. So that's gonna be my bread and butter for chest, and that's pretty much it. And now I want to transition on should you bulk or should you cut. So now that we got my training out of the way, so at first, should you bulk or should you cut? So the shortest answer I can give you is basically I don't have a short answer. but I'm gonna give you a few scenarios in which I think you should bulk. So, the only thing, the only situation that I believe somebody should like bulk, and by bulk I don't mean dirty bulk like I did it in my transformation video, but just a regular bulk. So, in my opinion, you should never go over half a kilo per month, because when you think about it, half a kilo per month is 6 kilo per year, and if you are intermediate, I mean, you're not gonna build 6 kilos of muscle per year. You're not gonna build even 3 kilos of muscle per year. So it doesn't really make really sense for you to like go on a really aggressive bulk if you're intermediate. But there are a few situations when you can go on a little bit more aggressive bulk, maybe, but I would never, personally, I would never ever go above 1 kilo per month. And that's basically talking about taller guys. For shorter guys, it's gonna be a little even less of that, because it's not the same. 100 kilos on a tall guy is not the same as 100 kilos on a shorter guy. But yeah, okay, never above 1 kilo per month, and that's only and exclusively in two situations. So first situation is that you want to increase your strength, and your strength is has kind of plateaued, but this is not for everybody. So the only time you should bulk up like that aggressively, it's if you already think that you squeezed every last ounce of strength you can in your current weight class. So this is basically me talking only for powerlifters. So if your goal is strictly strength and you want to pursue powerlifting and you want to be really good in powerlifting specifically, not just general strength training. Sorry. So if you want to be really good in powerlifting and you have been stuck, so like, I don't know, maybe 1 year in a certain weight class, and the only thing you think that the only way you can progress again is by adding more gaining weight. Yeah, maybe that's the option, but also if you have to ask this question, probably it will be better for you to get a coach and ask them if you need to gain weight and go in a higher weight class, because there is a lot of issues with that. So for me, basically, I wanted to be in a minus 120 kilo class when I started like strength training, and now I realize that I don't really want to do that. I would be a lot stronger if I did. So now I'm currently at 110 kilos, and I want to drop down below 105 for sure. And probably I'm gonna just hover around 100 kilos on the spot, on the dot. So 100.0, I would probably never go above that once I go below that, because I want to keep my body fat in check, and strength is not really my main goal currently, or it's not gonna be ever anymore. So I'm not gonna try to maximize my strength gains, and if I wanted to maximize my strength gains, I would probably have to go in 120 kilo plus, so in super heavyweight, and I will never do that, but I should do that because of my height. Probably it will be the best choice for me, and I'm not gonna even go in the 120 kilo class, and I'm certainly not gonna go in super heavyweight. So basically, if you want to maximize your strength, that's the only reason you should bulk up like 1 kilo per month gain. Not even that, because that's really too much. That's 12 kilos per year, and weight classes are sometimes not even like that far apart. Only 93 to 105 is the only thing that is starting to jump a little bit more than 10 kilos. So, not really smart idea. And the other the other on the other side that you want to bulk like really massively is just if you are so impatient like I was, and you want to build as much muscle mass as possible in the shortest amount of time. Yes, then, but I would never also go over 1 kilo per month. But that's the only 2 times that I would suggest like bulking really aggressively. But in 99% of the cases, I would probably say no, that's just stupid. So you are probably not, most likely you're not in that 1%, so don't do aggressive bulk. But should you bulk up, go up in weight in general, you probably should. You probably should. And if you have less kilos than your height in centimeters minus 100, in my opinion, if you are a taller guy, you should bulk, but slowly. Like you should do a lean bulk, in quotes, lean bulk. Lean bulk actually doesn't really exist, but let's just call it lean bulk. You should start lean bulking if you have so basically if your body weight is your height in centimeters minus 100. So if you have below that number, you should do a lean bulk to gain weight a little bit more. And in my opinion, you should never go above, so that number, your height minus 100, over 10% of that. In my opinion, if your goal is strictly aesthetic and you just want to build muscle, I don't think you should go over that. So that's just my opinion. Some people will just naturally go over that because they are naturally like bigger persons. They have heavier bones, and they are just like built for muscle gain. But an average individual would probably just want to stay below that. And the only reason for that is because if you bulk too much, you have to now cut all of that weight down. So that's basically my situation here, because I just have too much fat on me. I mean, I'm not like super fat, but I don't like how much fat I currently have. So that's why I'm gonna go below 100 kilos for sure. That's not even a question. I am going below 100 kilos, and I am not basically gonna focus on strength now. I am lifting kind of heavy weights currently because that's just how I like to train. But I also don't like to do like singles or triples or anything like that. The most I ever go is 4 reps, sometimes maybe, and that's it. So I don't care about strength currently. I just want to look good and I just want to build more muscle. So I'm focusing on building more muscle. And yeah, so on the other side, when do you want to cut? So basically, if you are anywhere above your height in centimeters minus 90, so minus 90, and you have fat on you, probably you should cut if your goal is aesthetic. But if your goal is to gain strength, you don't have to cut at all. You can just maintain. If you think you look good for yourself, you don't have to cut weight. But that is also another. All of this, it really depends on individual, and it really depends on what are your goals. So what are your goals? Do you want to look good for the beach? Of course, you have to cut. If you don't see your abs and you want to look good in 2 months, of course you have to cut. I mean, and it all depends on the goal. So if you want to maximize your muscle mass, so if you want to maximally retain all of the muscle that you built, that's the different story. If you want to see your abs, it's not the same as trying to keep as much muscle as possible while dieting. You can see your abs in pretty fast. You can cut. I can now cut to below 95 kilos in probably 2 months. It's just that I would look like a skeleton by doing it. I would be wrecked, you know? So that's not the same as me trying to keep as much muscle as possible, because that takes time, and you have to do it really slow, and you have to do it like really carefully. It's not the same goal. So basically, if you're too fat, of course you have to cut weight. I mean, that's not even a question. It doesn't matter if your goal is strength or not. If you are over, I don't know, 25 if you're over 20% of body fat, you should cut, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion. You don't have to do it. I'm not your, I'm not your father or God. You can do whatever you want. But in my opinion, if you're over 20% of body fat, you should cut down. You should cut down at least to 15. It's also because of your health issues, and also I don't think that most of the guys here want to be specifically like super hardcore powerlifters. Yes, I know most of you want to gain a little bit more strength on bench press, on overhead press, on rows, on deadlift, or on squat, but that's completely other animal than just wanting to be purely powerlifter. So being purely powerlifter is not the same as just I just want to build some strength, because everybody can build strength, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go powerlifting. You can build strength in any kind of lift you want. You can, just look at strongmen. So yeah, basically you should gain weight, as I said. You should cut weight if you are too fat, or if you want to see your abs. And that's pretty much it for now. That's just my shortest answer that I can give for you. But as always, it all depends on individual. It always depends on what time frame you want to achieve something. It's not the same as cutting the weight in 1 month, or if you want to cut weight, I don't know, indefinitely in 2 years or something like that. So it really depends on the person. So yeah, guys, if you like this ramble, leave a like, and subscribe if you didn't. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.